All right, guys, welcome. This is Black Label Closers, and today we're going to talk about very, extremely important subject and phrases that will turn every single no into a yes. We're going to go through every one of them. These are rebuttals, and this is the way you anticipate two more objections down the line. Hello, my name is Jader. This is Black Label Closers. I am the founder of Black Label Closers, and I am happy to have you here. We're going to cover a lot of ground today. I'm going to show you a great video about the 10 phrases. Before we do that, I would like to go through a couple of things that I think are very pertinent to the process of you selling and closing high ticket. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today, and this is it kind of building up to the 10 phrases, we are going to memorize. I want you guys to pick up your pen and a piece of paper, and I want you guys to write this down. Very important questions to take the temperature on your prospect to find out where he's at. And you can do this several times during the call. All right, not just in the middle of the call or towards the end of the call if you're a setter or if you're a closer, right? It's always finding out, and you have to be proportional in the way that you're going to do this, right? If you are in the beginning of the call and you're just talking about seriousness, how serious you are, if you're asking, if you're a setter and I would reiterate this question in the beginning of your second call to your customer, to your prospect, if you're the closer as well. So if you're the setter, you get into that call and you say, hello, my name is so-and-so. I'm giving you a call on behalf of whatever. I understand you entered an interest, and it seems to me, since you scheduled this call or asked to be contacted, that you're really serious in regards to creating wealth in whatever it is that you're selling, whether it is the stock market, real estate, e-commerce, Bitcoin, whatever it is that you're selling, right? Especially if you're selling to the public. And if you're selling to a company, this is another great question to ask. I mean, it doesn't take away anything, right? So once they say yes, give it a little more time. In about 2-3 minutes, once they explain, you ask them a couple of questions. You ask this question, and it takes a temperature in the room of how serious they are in progressing into that phone call. If you're the setter, when you set, remember, I said people, I train people, setters to set deals, not appointments, right? We're setting up deals. So you want to make sure you prepare this person enough so that when the closer gets it, they're going to be able to maneuver that phone call and pick it up right where you left. So you're going to ask them this question, and you're going to say, Mr. Prospect, let me ask you this question. Given the fact that you submitted an application, you entered an interest, you asked to be contacted, or you set up an appointment, on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how important is it to find security in your finances into the future for you and your family, your loved ones? Now, the reason why you have to ask that question, and here's where setting up a deal and being a closer is versus being a salesperson in setting up an appointment, is if anybody has the presence of mind to ask that question, what they're going to say is typically, and this is what I don't want you to do, is on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how serious are you to invest into whatever or to acquire whatever service I'm selling? They're going to say, well, a 7, a 6, I don't know, a 5. You're never going to get a 9, much less a 10. Typically, you're going to get anywhere between 5 to 6 to 7 of that. 7 is going to be like the 10 for them, right? So the way you change that is you change the psychology of the question. Instead of asking for how serious they are to invest in the service that you're selling, you're going to ask them how serious they are on fixing an existential problem in their lives for the future, for the lives of the people they love. And if they have a company, if you're selling a B2B, in the existence of that company into the future. I guarantee you, when you put up in front of them the matter of life and death as far as their passion, love, family, company, business, whatever it is that you're, especially if you're selling to an individual in residential, you are going to always bring the I'm sorry, I just moved the camera. There's a little ant on the camera. I can see it from here. It's just a tiny, a tiny one. Anyway, but we're gonna focus on making that question very important. Now, when you are in the middle and you're setting up, you've already establishing the strong seriousness. Also, towards the end of the call, once you posture the call and once you make them give you their ultimate commitment to meet with your closer, you're going to ask him on a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how ethical are you in order, how important and ethical, how ethical are you? Every time you set up an appointment, you take somebody else's time. How ethical are you on a 1 to 10, 10 being the highest? If you ask it like that, they're going to tell you 10. You want to make sure you reinforce that appointment, that follow-up. Even if you're the closer and you're setting for yourself, you're going to ask them that same question. Now, same thing when you're the closer, right? You're going to take that call. You are going to, if you have a setter, you probably talk to your setter. You have notes. You understand what's going on with the prospect. If you need to have a second decision maker there, so that you can talk to all the business partners, all the husband and wife, decision makers there. Be careful with false decision makers. We covered that somewhere else in another video. So go back to the videos and find out what a false decision maker is. So now you want to make sure that, very simple, that you are going to reestablish the level of seriousness. Hey, John, how are you? This is Jader, or John, or Mike, whatever. Hey, John, this is Mike, giving you a call. I understand you talked to Ralph a couple of days ago, yesterday, and I understand that you're looking very seriously to monetize so that you can secure finances into the future for you and your family. Is that correct? Yes, that's correct. Now, you would say that because in the notes, Ralph, the setter, would have said he has a family, right? He's got kids. He's divorced. He's single. He doesn't have kids. He's got a wife. Business partner's got to be there. The wife has got to be there. So you check with that. He doesn't have to have his wife. I check, I double check, triple check. His wife doesn't have to be there. They're independent. Ralph is going to do such a great job at setting that deal for you that at any given time that you get that call, if you're the closer, obviously it's going to be ready to pop. At that point, once you establish, you go through the process, you explain the process again. Do you understand what we're doing here in this call? Once you take that call in, especially, you're going to do this either way, whether there's a third party who was not involved in the first conversation, or if there is a third party who, or there was nobody, or there's no need for anybody to be informed, even the person in question that would have been said by the setter or yourself should hear again why you're meeting that day. Now, if you ask someone, pay close attention. If you ask someone, do you understand what we're doing here today? They're going to say yes. And you're going to ask them, what are we doing here today? Now, remember, you're going to close that deal, right? You're going to collect whatever money is you're going to collect. So what you're going to do is you're going to ask him, what are we doing here today? That person, let's say they're looking to invest into e-commerce, right? They're going to tell you, well, we're going to talk about a lot of technical information, and you're going to explain to me how everything works and find out if this is going to be uh, what's going to be the fastest way, or if this is going to be the fastest way for me to make money, or see if I want to get into this or whatever. Pay attention to the language of the prospect. If they say, if I want to get into this, you take that and you put a pin on it, because you're not going to let that guy get away with that. All right. It's not that they're coming in and deciding if they want to do this. You are going to make that decision. This is the reason why this is consultative, persuasive in a reverse psychological process, because you're going to reverse the psychology of that sale. This person has no merits to make decisions. You and your company do. The company you are representing is probably a set. I hope you're working for an ethical company, a company that's been around for a while, or at least a company that's been solidifying itself for the time that they have been in business. So they have something to show for. The person on the other end of the phone, they're virtually not known, right? At least not in the business, in the field that you are offering the services, right? To learn how to be exceptional, whatever they're trying to do, right? They're trying to be. So in that regard, you're going to take that and you're going to tell the person, well, first of all, let me ask this question on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how important it is for you to build a company, build a business that will secure and help you make enough money for you to secure and protect your family in the near future, given the fact that we're going through the longest recession ever lived. Boom. If somebody says I'm a 9, if somebody asks me that question and I say I'm a 9, I have no business being in the business world, right? Now, if you get anybody, because some people actually think that that's a question in regards to perfection, and they're going to think that nothing's perfect in life, so they're never going to give you a 10. Do not let anybody slide with a 9. 9.5, 9.9, I don't care. So if somebody says, yeah, I'll probably give it a 9. I said, okay, what point not a 10? Well, nothing is perfect in life. Everything is subject to imperfection. Yeah, but we're not talking about perfection. We're talking about securing and protecting your family. That's only a 9 to you. So you're feeling. I would tell him this. I would make it as least confrontational, but rather challenging. So what you're telling me is protecting your family financially is only a 9, not a 10. Oh, no, protecting my family should be, it should be. And typically they change when I say typically, I'd say almost 100% of the times, they're going to feel a little embarrassed. And they're going to say, no, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's a 10. Now, you want them there because all you're going to talk about is how they feel about what they've done until that point that haven't summed up to what they really are looking for in life, which is having a secured financial legacy, right? One of the questions I ask as a closer at some point is, what happens, God forbid, if you get neutralized today? What's going to happen to your family? I'm not saying if you die today, right? Because there are a lot of things that can happen to a human being that will take him off the race, right? What happens to your family, to the people you love, to the people around your daughters, your children, if you get neutralized today? God forbid. I mean, the game of the name of the game here is anticipation, being able to anticipate, right? That's very important that you guys understand how to tackle that and how to make people really get an effervescent in the process when they feel the emotion of what happens if I die today, what's going to happen to my 5-year-old daughter, right? Especially when I'm 60, right? A lot of older people generations have been having kids later in life. So a lot of 50-year-olds that happen to have, a 4-year-old or a 10-year-old. So those people are really sensitive when you make propositions. You're trying to help these people get away from the indoctrination and start getting their mind reset, right? Because that's the only way. If you think about it, if they are really picking up a possibility to become exceptional investors, they're going to start changing every perception they have as far as money, financial independence, sacrifices, and all that stuff. All right. So very important that you do that you ask those questions, that you behave in the way that I just explained to you. All right, perfect. I'm going to say hi to some people here. Pantera, thank you very much for coming back. Welcome on board. Really cool to have you. Rose is here. Rose, welcome. Learn, write down, ask questions. That'd be great. That's what I want you guys to do. Yoey, always here every Tuesday. We're missing a couple of people. That's okay. That's okay. We'll have him back. All right. I love Pantera. Oh, Pantera. Nice. Thank you, Pantera. Appreciate the hearts and the praying hands and the hearted out eyes. I don't know how to call that. But anyway, great. All right. Let's get ready to thank you, Pantera. All right. Let's get ready to go here. And Rose, thanks. You're welcome. You are welcome, Rose. You're plenty welcome. All right, perfect. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch a video. And I got to be careful every time I share the screen. It's a little bit. All right, so we're going to share the screen, right? We're going to do this right here. All right. Let's go for... okay. Give me a second, guys, because this is super, super important. Okay. Okay. Nope. No. Okay. All right. Nope. All right. Nope. All right, guys, give me 1 second. I need to kind of do this. Okay. I was kind of going through this before, and the video was a little bit choppy. So hopefully we can watch the video without the chops. All right, cool. All right. Okay, here we go. We're just gonna do this, and hopefully it doesn't chop that much. I don't know why the internet is probably have excellent internet. I don't know why it would chop that much, but let's do it. All right. So, all right, and let's watch the video. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 phrases to turn a no into a yes. Psychological triggers to handle objections like a pro. Every no is just a misunderstood yes. In sales, your words create the reality of the call. These 10 phrases are designed to shift your prospect's mindset, break resistance, and move them towards the yes they're already curious about. Let's start. First, the way you rebuttal a serious objection is by saying, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. You turn the question they're proposing onto themselves. Use when a prospect is hesitant or vague. For example, I totally get that. Let me ask you this. What do you think successful people who were in your position did when they had to face the same question? That's going to make him think and rely on their own perspective to be able to give you an answer. Number two, that is exactly why you need to take action now. You don't disagree with them necessarily. You agree with them, but then you flip the proposition against them. For instance, flip their objection and use it as the reason they should buy. For example, I get that money is tight right now. And if you keep prioritizing fear, money will always be tight. Number three, If nothing changes, what does life look like 6 months from now? Insert urgency with future pacing. For example, you can wait for sure, but let's be real. If nothing changes, what's life going to look like in 6 months from now? Make him realistically think of their situation versus where they're going to be in the future. Make them have the feeling and that sensation of uncertainty and urgency for why they need to invest in whatever it is that you are offering. Number four, what's holding you back from changing your situation? Challenge hesitation without pressure. For example, you told me you want to make $20,000 a month. You've been thinking about this for the past 3 years. How much money have you left on the table thinking about it for 3 years? What's holding you back this time? This is going to make them feel like they have been wasting time and wasting resources, not to mention opportunities. Number five, let's reverse engineer this. What would you do if you were 100% confident it'll work? This breaks limits and beliefs by flipping the frame. For example, what would you do if you were 100% confident it'll work, but you're not? Just like you didn't know if your marriage was going to work. You took your chances because you love that person. See, the magic of diving into something risky is wanting success more than feeling afraid. Now, if the person is not married, still find the connection between marriage and a decision that is risky. Everybody would understand. Everybody had parents. Everybody has friends that have been married. Everybody understands the possibility of having a risky situation when marrying somebody. Most people would understand the example regardless. Number six, what is the real cost of not taking action and staying where you are? Face them with a financial loss if they don't take action. For example, forget the investment. What is the cost of not taking action and staying where you are? How much is it going to cost you taking action versus how much is it going to be once they hand you the bill for not trying? This is not just going to be an emotional proposition, but it actually inflicts objective understanding when you talk about numbers, figures. You've already taken them through a process of feeling like they've lost money because they haven't taken action in the past. Now, if they continue not to take action, they will continue to lose money. Number seven, take me to the process of thinking about it. By helping them realize that the more time they take, the less it'll make sense. One, because their brain will forget important information about the opportunity. Two, because the fear will increase. And three, because they have an investment that will scream loudly against the decision. This will take them into a realistic scenario of how they will not stay true to their promise of thinking about it, and also will give them factual information on how thinking about it takes away motivation to execute and the reason they will never change their lives, because thinking about it is just a pretty proposition to get away with more of the same. Example, you're going to think about it. Most people go back after this conversation and only think of the investment, forget most of the information they just learned, because the brain will lose 80% of all information after 20 minutes. They're afraid because that's how they live, in fear. And then they think of the investment and it becomes an easy decision. They don't even give this a serious thought. Take me to the process of thinking about it. Number eight, if this is not the right time, what are the conditions you demand for it to be the right time? This will attack their thought process as illogical and absurd. Example, you're broke, but you're not defeated. The more you wait, the tougher your life will get. If this is not the right time, what are the conditions you demand for it to be the right time? One of the most effective ways to challenge someone's perspective, if you're trying to help them, is with logic. No one can antagonize when you have logic in front of you. It's simple, it's basic, and it doesn't take a lot of energy to understand that logic is the only way to go. Number nine, if this really was your breakthrough moment, would you recognize it? It creates doubt about their doubt and invites emotional commitment. For example, if this really was your breakthrough moment, would you recognize it? Because sometimes it's not about being ready, it's about deciding to take the first serious step. This is going to confront them with paralysis by analysis. Most people suffer from analyzing something so much that they don't ever make a move. And they don't recognize things because they're just busy analyzing things. Number 10, I get that it's risky, but it is riskier not making an investment. This is going to acknowledge the objection while introducing the cost of doing nothing. For example, I totally get that it's risky, but it is riskier not to make this investment today and staying stuck in the same situation 6 months from now. What would that cost you emotionally, financially, or even in missed opportunities? All right. Are you ready to become the kind of closer who turns doubts into yeses? Join our free training and community for sales pros and aspiring closers at www.blacklabel-closers.com. We have weekly live coaching sessions, real sale call reviews, insider scripts. Follow at Black Label Closers for more sales psychology. Today, we're going to talk about the 10 phrases to turn a no into a yes. Psychological triggers handle objections like a pro. Every no is just a misunderstood yes. In sales, your words create the All right, I was looking for a place to be able to shut it off. All right, cool, guys. Let's stop the sharing here. And awesome. All right, guys. I hope that was very helpful. I know that's very helpful. I know that right there, without you having to spend a dime, should take your sales level to the next place or your sales productivity to the next level. All right. That right there is gold, guys. And a lot of people never spend the time to teach you that unless there's something in it for them, right? So I'm giving you a ton of value. You guys should come every Tuesday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Black Label Closers on YouTube and be with at the open house training every Tuesday and Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are also on Facebook, Black Label Closers. You can check us out, like I said on that video, www.blacklabel-closers, www.blacklabel-closers.com. And you can go to the community and be part of the community on school.com and drop your questions, any concerns. You can sign up for the free course. And if you want to be more aggressive and learn more, you can sign up for a course valued at $1,000 only for $97. That's all you got to pay, $97. Anybody has $97. Come on. The recession is not that bad. Act promptly and proactively. AI is coming for everybody. So be diligent. All right. And also, we have the partnership program. You can become my partner, and I will split everything. It would be 50% of the profits for you. It would be 50% of the profits for Black Label Closers. So we're going to split 50-50. Nobody would ever pay you that much in this business. Great to have you here, Pantera, Yowie, Rose. It is awesome that you guys have been dropping comments. I haven't been able to read them because they're all hearts and faces and emojis, and I really appreciate you guys chiming in and give me a little bit of love back. All right, perfect, guys. I'll see you here Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Black Label Closers. Go to www.blacklabel-closers.com and check out the success stories. See you then.